You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Project Runway After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Project Runway After Show.
Hi everyone, Bing is for doing, and here at AfterBuzz TV, we're doing another Project Runway Season 12, Episode 1 recap. I'm Alina, and these are my lovely co-hosts.
Hi guys, I'm Amanda Fields.
Hey, I'm Stef Z.
All right, should we get right into it?
We should.
Sky's the Limit is the episode because it's an unconventional challenge this week.
It is. It is.
And there was a runway on a runway.
A runway on the runway. But before we get to Sky's the Limit and the unconventional challenge, we always like to talk about Heidi's outfit.
I loved her outfit tonight.
Yes.
I loved her outfit at the beginning of the show more than on the runway later.
Yeah. Did you guys like the parachute-y pants, but they were leather?
Yes. I thought they were very chic and sexy, and I liked that she paired it with the aviator glasses.
The whole look, like the striped shirt, the glasses, everything.
Yeah, it was a really good look. It was
The
classy.
ponytail.
It was fun. She had she could jump out of a plane in that.
She had a lot of swag.
She did. She
Yep.
did.
It was also really young.
Very.
Yeah.
Heidi likes it. To do
Heidi
with
keeping
young.
it real. Keeping it real. She
Yes.
would have a good opening outfit though. It would have been terrible if she had a bad opening outfit. Just saying.
Let's get into Sky's the Limit. Sorry, I'm like digressing because I was reading. Sky's the Limit. The episode's the unconventional challenge, and what they have to do is create an outfit from parachute material, and thus the runway.
Now, Steph, since you're a fashion designer, what is your expertise on working with that type of fabric?
Well, I've never actually made anything out of a parachute, but I like that everyone kind of took on their own concept in a way. You know what I mean? Like, I liked some people kept it flowy, some people made it tight. So, and from what they said, you only had the parachute pants and they had some nylon enhancements only. Which I think was interesting because you wouldn't find that on a parachute. It's kind of like a rough thing on a very smooth, flowy something. So to make those work together, I think is very interesting. And I think some people really nailed it. And I think some people forgot to pull the cord.
And we should also mention that this challenge also had them creating something that really showed their personal aesthetic. So it wasn't just about creating something from parachute. It was also showing who they are as designers.
That's right, and I think the designers that were able to tell their story the best with the parachute fabric being more itself and being very flowy did the best.
And it was first impressions. You know what I mean? Like, it was first impressions. It was going to be able to see who, wanted to make that showstopper piece and who was kind of just playing it safe. Like, you could, through the outfits, you can see a lot of personality. You see who wants to take risks, who's willing to play by the rules, who's not. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's very interesting, the first impression of everybody, really, is what we got.
And you can see a lot of fear in the designer's eyes when they just say to Tim, well, I'm just going to make what I know. I like to make a top and a skirt, so that's what I'm going to do, instead of going really outside the box and pushing themselves.
Do you guys remember if for the other unconventional challenges they got to go to Mood and get other materials? Because we didn't see that this week.
I don't know.
I think that they had some of that white and black ripstop nylon fabric as a supplemental fabric, but I don't know if it came from Mood.
Yeah.
We didn't see the trip to Mood.
Yeah, exactly, which is something we're used to. I don't remember personally.
But a new thing as well that we did see, which I didn't see them actually use this season, was that they have to manage their own budget for the whole season, which I think is really interesting because it's if you have an expertise in some type of design and you know that you can cut corners to make it look good, it doesn't have to be really ready to wear. It can just walk the runway. You can like save money there for like another challenge, or you know, you can spend money in the beginning so that you can get like a couple basic things that could work with lots of different stuffs that can help you then. You know what I mean? So when you get the next challenge, you already have stuff like, oh, I could do this, or like it creates more ideas.
But that takes a lot of common sense and reason, and we'll see who has that this season and who doesn't.
Very true.
That being said, I wonder if they're able to manage their budget for the whole season and buy things in advance for the whole season, like zippers and accessories and things like that.
Like
or
if there's a sale at Mood.
Or do they have to just manage it per episode?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. They didn't say that, and I just assumed, and I think I assumed that because of from Fashion Star watching that show, that you know they could whatever they got, they had a certain budget per thing, but if they had extra fabric, they could use it. So that's interesting. We should look at that.
Which is usually not the case on Project Runway, but we shall see.
Yeah.
Yes, and before we get into Serial Buddies, I also want to talk about how they brought back a contestant from last season, Kate.
They did.
They had her fly in on the jet or whatever, and it's kind of odd. I haven't watched any seasons where they did that. I think you mentioned that, Amanda, that they've done that before, right?
I'm not sure if they've had anyone fly in on a jet, but they have had a designer come back again, but it was voluntary. It wasn't like a vote out to the viewers and fans. Daniel Franco was in the first season and only made it one episode. He was the first one eliminated, and he came back for season 2. So I kind of said, oh, they pulled a Daniel Franco.
I don't know if that's so fair. I don't really like the idea of that. We've already seen her work.
I don't like it either. And she knows the game more.
Yeah.
She knows the people she's trying to impress. Like, I kind of think it brings a little bit of an unfair... Like, there's no need for her there. Except to, like, cause a little drama. Like, they showed everyone being like, I hope it's not her when she was arriving. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, as far as the rules of the game, like, I'm not a big fan of that.
I think the producers are just trying to add some flair and...
Right.
Exactly, but I think they had enough flair and enough drama already. Hello, Sandro.
I know.
AKA Borat.
I know, seriously. Sandro and his outfit.
And his vagina.
My goodness.
Let's just say I didn't think he liked vagina that much. And let's get on and go on to Serial Buddies, you guys. Here at AfterBuzz, our creators Kevin Undergaro and Maria Menounos have an amazing movie out. It's on iTunes. You can download it. Where else can they find it? On our website. So go and support, you guys. It's a hilarious movie. It's about 2 serial killer buddies, and it's really funny. Yeah. We need the support.
It's kind of like Dexter meets Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
It's hysterical.
I think you can just go to your cable and order it video on demand, right?
Can we? Yes, I believe so.
I think so.
Marissa?
It's available on iTunes and Amazon as of right now. It will be available on video on demand in a month, and it'll be on DVD in September.
And everybody tweet Marissa. Wish her a happy birthday.
Thank you, ladies.
She's the best.
Yay, Marissa.
All right, let's get back to the workroom. All right, who did you guys think stood out in the workroom? I always like to ask that question because there's so many people I see in the workroom that I really like or hate and then end up getting shocked once I see their work on the runway.
I thought Timothy stood out a lot. I mean, with all his unicorn speak, and I'm a fan of unicorns. Like, unicorns make people happy, like, don't get me wrong. But, like, it was very soon into it that he came up with the whole, like, sustainable thing, and he didn't want to use the sewing machine. He stood out to me, and Sue stood out to me, that she didn't know how to use a sewing machine. It was, like, very technical things that stood out to me right away.
Let's take a second to talk about Timothy and his deeper conceptual story, the zero impact he has on the world,
World War II,
how he used recycled fabrics. He doesn't like using electricity. I mean,
Timothy scares me a little bit, and I don't get scared by a lot of people. I love differences in personalities, but he strikes me as someone that I'm not so sure is telling me the whole story about him. Is he hiding something with his tales of unicorns and glitter?
Is it? I want to know if it's authentic or if it's a front.
I think it's kind of authentic. I don't know if you guys got a chance, but I went on the website and watched all, like, the hometowns, and, like, they took you on a tour through their closets, and he's got, like, a lot of unicorn stuff, and saying, like, his piece that it makes him feel powerful, and he wants to save the trees so that they could have unicorns if there was, like, it was like this whole thing, like, for him to, like, be like consistent throughout with that story, I think he kind of believes it.
But what did trees and unicorns
So
have
that
in
there would be a
common?
place for the unicorns.
The
To
unicorns need trees. They live in trees.
I mean, that's what he said. That's what he said.
Okay,
Wow.
Timothy.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Anyways.
you stuck around.
I just enjoyed watching the choreography that he was teaching his model.
Yeah.
He was really serious about it.
Now, his model was Nastasia.
What'd you think? If you were Nastasia, what would you do?
Well, I appreciate that Timothy had a very good idea and an exciting point of view. And as a model, you have to take what they're giving you and really do what they say because they have a vision. But Tim Gunn came in and said, Timothy, what are you and Nastasia doing? So they had to make sure that on the runway, she took as much time as the other models and she didn't take any extra time to give him an unfair advantage of the judges seeing the dress longer.
Very unfair.
But she didn't really do anything except change her pose at the end. And I wonder if that had to do with her opinion of what she was told to do, or if it was just an instruction from one of the producers saying, you're not allowed to do anything else except change your pose.
My guess is she was mad because the poor girl did not get any hair, any makeup. She had to walk down the runway barefoot, and he wore the shoes.
Yeah,
What's up with that?
But in the same sense, like if you could take that and flip that around and go to the place where, like, number one, the show's not about the models. No disrespect. Number two,
It's true.
a good model will do whatever a designer says with a smile on her face, because the next episode guarantees she's not going to be barefoot. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to change, and that will show her character by just showing up and doing her job, essentially.
No, I agree.
I mean, it was crazy.
I agree, but she could have been mad about it.
But I don't
Never
think
know.
her being mad, like, I don't think that she would be mad and not do it. I think if she would do it, like, I think there was producer, like, heavy hand in
And
that or something.
as a model, your job is to just be the designer's
Muse.
vision, muse. You
Right.
wear the dress and you show it in the way that they have intended
Right.
it to be shown so that they get the right reaction from the, well, in this case, the judges, but the press and the buyers and everything else.
Right. And again, she's the first one we're talking about, so they did something right.
Well, Timothy did something.
Right. No, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it stood out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I
So-
think she is so beautiful, she didn't need makeup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Sue was also somebody we mentioned. She didn't know how to use a sewing machine. She's an older designer. How old?
Yeah.
45, from Brooklyn.
Yeah, something like that.
But I mean, her dress looked beautiful. I didn't think it was ugly. I just was kind of shocked she didn't know how to use a sewing machine.
And I think it'd be like interesting too how you see how some people like Dom came over and actually helped her,
Yeah.
and Alexandra was like, how does she not know how to sew? You know what I mean? Like, so you could see, you can kind of start to see who's gonna bring the caddy to the game, to the workroom. You know what I mean? Like, which I thought was interesting because, like, as soon as you saw her doing that, I'm like, who's gonna help? Who's gonna make fun? Because you knew they were gonna, like, show one of each. You know?
Exactly, and I really appreciated how Zach Posen noticed that Sue let the fabric speak to her, and Tim Gunn even addressed that too in the workroom, that she didn't just try to plow through with her idea and then end up having to start over. She just stopped what she was doing and put it back on the form and just took a good look at her design, and that really helped her out.
Yeah.
Even in the end, too, when Kate Bosworth was saying, like, why the back? She was like, well, that's kind of all I had. So she really did, like, she didn't, like, try and go against the grain. She was kind of just working with it, which I feel like a few of them were trying to, like, go against. Whether it be, like, Miranda with using too much, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just very, she was like a free-flowing person it comes with.
Overthinking kills them sometimes.
Right.
And we see that every season.
Yeah.
So,
Especially if they finish their design earlier than the other designers. They want to go back and change things,
Yep.
but maybe they don't need to.
first answer is always the right one. All right. Somebody else who stood out to me was Braden, because he was really nervous the whole time and he kept doubting himself. He kept mentioning that he had no idea what he was doing. But I mean, seeing his work, when we first saw his work, you even mentioned it. You're like, he's the new Ven. And Ven was a designer from the past seasons that was really, really talented and had amazing technical skill.
Of course, I think Braden might have a better attitude than Ven.
I think anybody has a better attitude
But
than
I
Ven.
appreciated that he had been a professional dancer for years, and he could use that in his design techniques. And you could see with the dress that he created from a parachute that he knew how to balance the elements and create something that on the runway still put on a good show, but is still something that people would wear in real life. It was just stunning, and it looked expensive.
Right.
It was amazing.
And what I did like too about like what you mentioned, that he was really nervous and saying he didn't know what he was gonna do, but I liked his statement that he said that I'm walking around like I do, but I really have no idea. So he was kind of in like the fake it till you make it, like, okay, I'm cool, I'm gonna figure this out, but I have no idea what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like he was kind of very,
he didn't lose his composure
at all. Yeah,
it's important. All right, Tim's suit. We got to talk about Tim's suit. He walks into the workroom to give these designers some advice. He's kind of going a little risque this season. What's up with the orange plaid, the jacket?
I like it.
And then, I know, I do too. I like everything Tim does.
Yes, Tim Gunn can do no wrong. I love all of his suits. He just looked extra adorable tonight.
Yes, orange is a good color for Tim. Maybe he got tan. I don't know.
Maybe he's taking a page out of the Michael Kors handbook.
He has his own handbooks. He has a Bible.
I know, but I mean, because Michael Kors is like the persimmon princess. Very orange.
Oh, I see, I see. Okay, I get your reference.
Yes.
Let's get into Tim's critique, though. Whose clothes stood out to you guys when Tim was critiquing them, or at least his comments? I noticed that Tim was really impressed by Timothy, which shocked me because he was really pleased with the burning. Do you guys remember that?
Yes, I think Tim was taken aback that Timothy would do something make such a strong statement so early. And I think that was wise of him. I think that's what ended up saving him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that even though we thought, like, what is he doing? Like, why is he doing that? In the end, it saved him because his design wasn't good, but because there was meaning behind it, they almost were like, well, I can kind of see what he was going for. You know what I mean? Like, it gave him that extra thing, but yeah.
He also liked Brayden's dress. He said it was James Bondy. That's a big compliment.
Yeah, I like that.
So, and then, I mean, this has nothing to do with Tim, his critique, or the designs, but you mentioned how you were obsessed with Ken for a reason.
Oh my God, Ken, you are my favorite. I really hope you win. You have a tattooed bow tie on. I love bow ties so much. It's like this big old clown bow tie.
He is wearing a tux at all times.
Yeah, that takes character, man. I like it. You're my favorite.
Shout out to Ken.
Yeah. Ken, come on our show. I want to see the bow tie.
Up
that
close.
means he'd have to take his shirt off. Or at least wear a deep V-neck.
How do you think I saw it?
Stef Z is the bow tie
We saw a lot
fan.
tonight, so
Yeah,
I guess the bow tie.
we did.
The bow tie
More than we
put a
even
pole on the
bargained
runway.
for.
Miranda, she had that cool design. However, she barely had any parachute, and Tim called her out from jump. He's like, what are you doing, lady? You're not using the material.
And this type of challenge, using the supplemental fabric, or in other challenges, a muslin, as part of your design when it's not part of the challenge, has gotten in designers' ways and has been cause for elimination. But I think because it was the first episode, they were hesitant.
Yeah.
Why do you think they were hesitant?
I agree with you, because then it would have set a tone that, like, if anyone else went maybe outside the guidelines of the challenge, they would have to be like, well, Miranda got voted off, so why didn't someone, like, so if someone made an amazing piece, but they didn't really exactly follow the guidelines, they'd have to take them off. So I think that was good that they did that, or it would have caused for, like, confusion later.
I also thought the fact that her design was cute, it was nice, she had good taste. I think you could see it.
Right, but it would have been just as cute if she would have used, instead of all that supplemental fabric, she would have used the parachute. Like, it wouldn't have fell or had the same hand, but, like, it would have, it kind of would have, she could have accomplished the same thing.
She could have. I think she was just scared.
Yeah, it seemed like, is it Miranda?
Miranda.
It seemed like Miranda didn't know how to work with a fabric that was that lightweight. Maybe she just didn't have experience in that, and she was afraid to show something on the runway to the judges. Right. But I think it could have set her free, but it was adorable. It was
Can't be scared.
No, don't be scared of the parachute. It's going to save you.
And then another person who was doubting themselves was Sue, obviously, because she could barely sew. But Tim was super impressed. He tells her, I'm super impressed, and he calls her dress a knockout.
Yeah, it was.
It was so beautiful, and the colors worked so well together. Yeah. She really chose a good parachute.
Well, we didn't mention in the in the challenge, a part of it was freaking wrestling for the parachute.
Yeah.
There was some injury.
But that was awesome.
I guess.
But in the same sense, if you're a really good designer, you should be able to make a good piece no matter what color you're given.
Yeah.
But we did see Kate completely wipe out trying to get her yellow parachute.
Yeah.
I think she was fronting about the yellow. I think she just said that because she got so embarrassed.
I think she was tripped, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Helen might have stuck a leg out in that.
I think she fell on the yellow and she had no choice.
She was like, in this. But I liked how she could laugh about it. Like, she was like, yeah, did you guys all laugh at me because I fell? You know what I mean?
What is she going to do, poor girl?
Right. But she could have been all pissed, like, well, I tripped and fell so I didn't get mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she tried to have a good attitude about it. So I give her credit for that.
Yeah. We got to. All right, that's who stood out to me. But this actually somebody he didn't give good critique to was Sandro, because all he had was his skimpy bottoms for his bathing suit that he was creating, and Tim's like, where's the rest of it?
Yeah. Tim Gunn even said, well, everyone else in the room can send their model out tomorrow, but not you.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? And he's like, well, because
you don't have a top.
You have no top.
Little did Tim know he barely had a bottom.
Yeah. It would have been better topless.
Yeah. And let's mention Sandro. He's Russian. He's about 25, but he looks about 65.
40.
He's very tan. And
sorry, Sandro, I'm sure you're a very sweet man.
What? We're just talking about his aesthetic.
Okay, yes.
And he wears blue contact lenses. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know
that.
I didn't notice that.
I will find out, but I'm pretty sure that
I noticed the blue
real.
eyes, but I didn't go that step to say that.
He's no blue-eyed Russian, and I'm not sure about that accent either. I don't know if it's real.
Watch his hometown.
I don't know. I still think he sounds like Borat.
Yeah,
he does, and he's very opinionated. Mm-hmm. He likes to stay humble, which is a front because we found out that at the end of Confession, he was really concerned about sounding humble.
Right.
He's like, did that sound humble?
Yeah.
I'm trying to sound humble.
They kind of like, he kind of nicks it when you say, was I just humble enough?
Yeah. He didn't realize the camera was still rolling.
Yeah.
One thing before we leave the workspace that I really liked was Kahindro. I don't know how to say your name.
I think it's Kahindo.
Kahindo, that's right. Kahindo was saying, like, there was a little clip of her saying that after Tim left, so many people changed what they were doing, which I thought was very interesting as well.
And we talked about that, like, overthinking and not being confident in what you really want to do kind of screws you over sometimes.
It does.
And that's something that has progressed over the seasons. In the beginning, I think the designers were more resistant to Tim. They didn't know to listen to what he had to say, and now all of the designers have seen the result of not listening to Tim.
Well, I think you have to find a balance. I don't think you should disregard what Tim has to say, but you have to have some sort of confidence in what you're doing too.
Exactly, and stick to your aesthetic and your instincts.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree with that. You can't, and a lot of stuff like this too, like even when I had my line, it's like you see what else is out there, and it's like you want to be aware of what other people are doing, but I used to really dislike going to like Saks or Neiman's and seeing what everyone else was doing, because then I'd be like, wait a minute, I'm not doing what they're doing, but it actually worked that I wasn't. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't do that a lot at all. So
that's crazy. I want to ask you about that. Okay. We'll do that later. Let's talk about iTunes. Stef, will you tell our listeners to download?
You can download us on iTunes. You can see us on YouTube, our brand new website. Check out our comments section. Please leave a comment if there's things you want us to talk about. We'll talk about it. If there's something you can't stand, we'll take it into consideration. But
tweet us.
YouTube. Any questions? YouTube, chat roll. Just find us, listen to us, download us. We really appreciate it.
And you might already be doing this right now, but isn't it new that you can watch AFTERBUZZ on your iPad and iPhone?
It is.
All right.
Look at you.
Amanda Field.
I like it. Amanda.
Get it, girl. All right, runway. Let's get to the runway.
Oh, wait. Time out. I think we need to discuss one thing about Timothy and his motto with the just be like the Virgin Mary. No stompa. I think that was like the phrase of the show.
Right, and he also said, Maybe you can find an artistic way to sort of sniff your armpit.
That was right after the Virgin Mary comment.
Yeah.
That's blasphemous right there. I'm sorry.
I don't even know what that
It
word
sounds
means.
like Timothy doesn't really know who he is yet as a designer, and he's kind of contradicting himself.
I don't think he knows
little bit.
much. Anyways, Milwaukee.
But
in
we
the house.
love you, Timothy. We can't wait to see what
We
you do
do.
next week.
He's very entertaining, and for that reason,
He'll stay.
I want him to stay. Too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, let's get to the runway, and most importantly, let's get to Heidi's outfit. She had a completely different look from what we saw earlier. I kind of like the more rugged, edgy Heidi we saw in the beginning with the ponytail and the
Agreed.
leather pants. But I don't mind a feminine Heidi either. What'd you guys think?
I understand it's good to dress up for the runway day, and I thought her dress was very feminine and, you know, as Heidi does like to prefer the tight short dress, but it was tasteful
Yeah, she had a bodycon black dress.
Yeah.
with lace.
I think it was tasteful, but it was a little, not cliche, that's like a negative connotation word, but like nothing like, oh,
It was
she's
boring.
looking good. Yeah, and in the beginning, her outfit had more style. But I do like that she shows versatility. Like, she's probably a woman that could wear sweats and look good, and wear, you know, a gown and look good. You know what I mean? And she's got definitely good style. I would just, you know, the first show, I thought she would have had something more like, whoop, bam.
Yeah.
I think her hair and makeup were beautiful in the beginning and during the runway. I liked the waves in her
Yeah.
hair. It was very feminine, and I thought she looked very fresh.
Very,
Yeah.
not too much. She looked good. I just thought, I agree with you, Steph. It was kind of boring. First episode. And I kind of wish we saw more of what the guest judge, Kate Bosworth, was wearing, because her style is off the hook.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I really like her
I
style.
really like her too.
And I
yeah.
like the fact that she has one brown eye and one blue or green. Did you guys know that?
Oh, that's right. I had forgotten about that.
There's a term for that, but I don't know what it is.
I think
I'm not going to butcher it.
I don't know if it's puppies or kittens that are born that way as well.
Yeah, I think
So you're
either.
trying to say she's a cat? I'm just kidding. Wasn't
She's
she
a kitty
Catwoman or
cat.
something?
Kate, cat.
She's
We
a
like
really
your
good
eyes.
surfer.
And let's talk about the new things they've added to the runway. Tim Gunn, he's now on the runway, and he has one save all season.
Yeah.
What was it called? The Tim
The
Gunn
rescue.
Rescue?
Yeah.
Yep,
I just want them to say, Tim Gunn to the rescue, and I want him to come out in a cape.
that would be amazing.
Yes.
You should pitch that.
Yeah.
And the other new thing they're adding is it's an anonymous runway for the judges now. So they don't know whose look is walking down the runway at the time, which is kind of fair.
However, I think as the episodes roll on,
They'll stop.
they're so smart as the judges. I think they're going to tell whose is whose, just from their aesthetic. Maybe not until like episode 4 or 5, but we'll see how that goes.
That depends on the designers.
Yeah,
too.
it'll be interesting too if they play into that in the respect to they're like, oh well, we really thought that was, you know, Timothy's dressed and it was Sue's. You know what I mean? Like that adds an interesting element.
Ooh, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
Me too. Let's get into our favorites and our least favorites. Let's start with the favorites. You can go first, Steph.
My favorite was Sue. I really liked her dress. I liked the flow. I liked the feel. It was hip. It was cool. It was young, but it was classy.
Kind of describe it.
Well, the pink and purple. I think it was pink, purple, and reddish, like
Yeah.
a reddish orange. And it was kind of it like swooped down. It had a couple pleats under the armpits, I think, and then it was very flowy at the bottom, like almost a little bit like of an apple top, or you know what I mean, like not an apple top, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's like that just made me like you can flow and you could see somebody parachuting in that, or you could see somebody with like a cocktail, you know. The styling, I didn't really love that the model had sunglasses on.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of took away, like it made you look up when your eyes should have stayed at the outfit.
Ooh, that's an interesting point. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I really didn't. I wasn't.
I thought it was cheesy with the
Yeah.
sunglasses.
Yeah, it was a little cheese ball.
Maybe just over-accessorized.
Yeah. She was my favorite. I did like Braden's as well. Sorry. I did like Miranda's. I liked it, but it kind of, this is terrible that I'm going to say this, but it kind of made me think of like the lingerie football league. Like it was like a short top. It looked like it had a little bit of shoulder pads, And like, I'm not a fan of that at all. Being an athlete and making women play sports in lingerie, I think is ridiculous. So it's like, but that's what it reminded me of.
That's a whole other recap.
Yeah, that's a different show.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that lingerie football league top.
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of reminded me of like an Australian designer.
Have you seen the lingerie football?
Have you seen? Yeah, I have. It does. It does. But doesn't it look like
shoulder pads?
Who am I thinking? Like, I don't know. Have you seen those Aussie designers? They always have like the crop tops with the high waisted.
Miley Cyrus's favorite outfit right now.
Yeah.
Basically,
she would wear that.
Oh,
she would rock that at every concert in different colors.
So would Kate Bosworth. Apparently.
Yeah, she
mentioned it.
Right. And you know, at first I did like Angela's, what we now call the rain poncho, but I liked the hood. Like, I liked, you know, like, yeah, maybe it's not runway material, so that's where it didn't work clearly. But I like that it was different and it was fun, and you know,
Sporty.
maybe if she made like a tiny little short with it, it would have changed completely the look, and she would, you know, it would have worked. But and my worst was definitely Sandra.
Why is that?
Well, where do I start? But I do like I didn't like it because the fit was terrible, and for me, like, even, you know, understanding what goes into fit models and all this stuff, like, it's almost a design of its own. Like, you have to make it fit. You have to, so when you walk, like, it flows. Like, there's so much that goes into that.
She was, even her stomach, she was busting out of the bottom.
She was busting out of her stomach. She had the strings to cover her
vagina.
And let's just say, she's beautiful, she's skinny. She didn't have a stomach.
Right.
To
if
hide.
she's busting out of that,
right. So not that any of these are ready to wear, but no one's gonna be able to wear that. Right.
No.
and
And what was holding it together? Little clasps of some type?
God was holding it together.
Yeah. And then, you know, he tried to use the strings to, like, cover up the mishap, which didn't really
And I
work.
caught you, Sandro. He was looking down there and making sure that that was not out.
But what I think he would have
You're
done...
not covering it.
Like, when you don't have that much time and your fit's that bad, you got to improvise. So with those clasps, if he would have, like, cut, like, pieces or something out of it so it looked like it was meant to show stomach, like, he could have made it better. I mean, it was very hard to work with. I won't, you know, that he missed the mark for the fit, but he could have made it better rather than just putting strings on it. Or, you know what I mean? Like, not made it like he's trying to hide it. Like, be like, this is what it's supposed to be. Like, he didn't own it.
No, not at all. All right, Amanda, give us your favorite and least favorite.
I am so excited because I loved Alexander's dress. It was actually a little bit of a surprise. I thought he was going to go for more of the theatrics. He is the costume designer of the season. And I don't know what I was expecting. I thought it would be more of a va-va-voom moment, but it was actually a nice little surprise. It was the diamond shape, different color panels. And he was even worried about how it looked against the model's legs on the runway because of the way she moved when she walked. It kind of stuck to her legs a little bit. But I think that he did a great job with that fabric, and it was just very adorable. I would wear that dress. I think it's very cute. And I also loved Brayden as well. I like that I kind of already talked about his dress a little bit, but I love the way it moved. And I think he, as a dancer, understood that right from the beginning. He may have even danced with fabric on a stage. So he probably thought about the way that the parachute fabric would move around, and it spoke to him in such a beautiful way. I think another favorite would be Sue. Again, I love the orange, red, and pink together. She chose some beautiful colors, and she let it speak to her. I'm trying to think if there's any other one that really
How about
stood
your
out
least
to me.
favorite?
Oh, I have two least favorites.
Let's hear it.
I really hated Angela's dress. Even in the workroom, I thought that looked like a potato sack. It was a sad excuse for a dress. I wouldn't even call it a dress. Nina Garcia called it a poncho. It looked like the poncho that you get when you visit Niagara Falls.
Yeah, or Splash Mountain.
It was just...
It's true.
It looked like it could have been made out of a garbage bag. I mean, it just hung so sad on the model. And I got to give props to the model. She tried her best. She was, you know, trying to have fun with it, but even she knew it was a goner. And I really...
Maybe she should go to Six Flags with that.
She should take it
Forget
to Six Flags.
Hurricane Harbor.
Take it to Hurricane Harbor and throw it away.
No milk. That's Six Flags.
Oh my God. And also, I think Sandro, first of all, Sandro's model.
I mean, yes.
Props to her
Yeah.
for wearing that monstrosity down the runway. It was the swimsuit from hell. It was held together by God, as Alina says. And I don't know. Let's just say they had to censor the bottom of the garment because this
I've
poor
never seen that.
model
I've never seen the
had the swimsuit going up her hoo-hoo.
It was like my phone
over the.
was covering her all.
It was.
all
It
episode.
looked like she should have been in a lot of pain, but she was smiling. And so that
That's
that is a fantastic model, and I'm proud of her for enduring that. I mean,
Are you gonna break into tears?
no.
Do you really?
There's no crying on Project Runway.
No, I'm
after
not.
show.
I'm not going to break into tears, but I could because I could imagine what she had
How
to go
mortified
through
she
and
was?
how long she would have had to stay in that outfit, and she probably couldn't sit down all day.
And it had to be bad because it's like, you know, on every like I've done and been to lots of runway shows, and like there's a boob that flies out every now and then.
Okay,
and
boob.
like right, but like if it was like just kind of hanging out a little bit, they probably wouldn't have censored it so that the audience can see. Like they straight up censored it. You know what I mean? They were like, "This is no good."
Plus, if a boob is shown, you're not in pain. You're just okay.
Well, I don't think it was hurting her.
It. Yes.
It looked like it was painful.
It
It
looked
looked like a medieval torture device. Like Sandra wanted to just
I mean, that's what you put your foot down.
punish this poor woman. Maybe he's
And what about you?
All right, my favorites. Brayden was my favorite. I thought it was beautiful and amazing. I loved how it was so flowy and it looked expensive to me. However, when I saw it up close, I thought it was good from far, but kind of far from. No, it wasn't far from good. It was better from far. Duh, he used the parachute and parachute strings. However, it still looked expensive, beautiful. I liked the colors. I really liked Kahindo's little mini dress. It was really simple, a really fitted purple dress that had pleating on the bottom. I'd wear it, and it didn't look like parachute to me. And lastly, I liked Alexandra. I thought it was dope. It was really modern. Looked like something you could get at Barney's Co-op.
Right.
Cut out mini dress.
Oh, that's
Fit
right.
really well.
Did she have the little panels of fabric in the neckline? I think.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
And then my least favorites, actually, I hated the rain poncho, Angela's rain poncho the most. As soon as I saw it, I thought it looked like a rain poncho. And it just looked cheap to me. You know, like I get the whole sporty aesthetic. I like that usually. However, and I love a good hoodie.
Right.
It didn't work though. It didn't work.
It didn't know what it was.
And then Sandro's, it just looked like a bad costume.
It's kind of funny too that we all had different favorites, but we all had the same terrible ones.
They were so bad.
They were terrible.
Did anyone write down what Zach Posen said about
Yes,
Sandro's?
how could we not?
I mean,
Slutty cat. She looks like a slutty cat toy, and he's like, enough with the moctopus. The moctopus needs to go.
Like, I'm a really big Zach Posen fan after tonight. I mean, I was previously
always.
too, but he also called Timothy's that it looked like it was Tinkerbell at Burning Man, which I thought was brilliant.
Yes. Look up Burning Man if you guys don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. And you would see Timothy kind of right there, just
On a unicorn.
with his glittery heels, enjoying the
Which
show.
is not sustainable. Those cheap Steve Madden heels
But I
are
like
not
that. I
sustainable.
like also that Zach Posen called him on that. That was something we missed. He called Timothy on, okay, you want to be sustainable and you don't want to use the tools to win this show, but you're going to burn stuff, which is going to have worse chemicals go into the air. You're going to wear shoes like that. You know what I mean? Which I feel so passionately about is the people that try and, you know, they have this message that they're doing this, but they're ignorant about the way that they're doing it, so they're actually being, like, harmful. So a lot of that's, like, organic fabrics and stuff.
I hope that he just really doesn't know yet, and that he'll learn through the process of Project Runway what that really means. He seems to be pretty young still, so
Yeah.
hopefully...
Could be naive.
Hopefully the benefit of the doubt that he's trying rather than just, you know, a lot of companies that say that organic fabric's better and this stuff, like, it's
And they're
really
hustling us?
not. Yeah.
All right, let's announce the winner. It's Brayden.
Woo!
I'm not
Brayden.
shocked. I think we were all pretty happy about that. And then the loser. Who wants to announce this loser?
Angela.
Dun, dun, dun. Poncho dress.
Who actually
Six
does
Flags.
look like Tinkerbell.
You know what? I am kind of sad because Angela seems to have really good taste. I like her personal style, so I wanted to see more out of her.
And it was crazy too
Yeah,
because
mention-
this year something that's also new is they have a play runway, I think it is .com, and you can vote along with the show. And 80% of people said that Project Runway made the wrong choice tonight. They said she shouldn't have been the one that went. So that's very interesting.
And
People just want to be protected from the rain.
And before we do get into the news, I have some news for you guys. I get to talk to the loser tomorrow. So I'm going to be interviewing Angela, and we will get the 411, and I'll tell you guys next week.
Perfect.
So tune in. All right. Let's get into the real news, though. Amanda?
All right,
AfterBuzz TV News.
I got a little overzealous there. We have some news and gossip tonight for Project Runway. It's that time again. Emmy nominations are in, and Project Runway is nominated for 5 Emmy Awards.
Woohoo.
Outstanding Reality Competition Program, Outstanding Picture Editing, Cinematography, and the most exciting, Outstanding Host for a Reality Program or Reality Competition Program. And this is the first year that Tim Gunn is included in the nomination. So Heidi Klum and Tim Gunn are nominated together for an Emmy. So
Let's
I
go,
hope,
Heidi and Tim.
yes, I hope they win. I'm crossing my
Oh
fingers
my
and toes.
God. Imagine Tim's tux. What is he going to wear, Tom Ford?
Yes.
I don't know. I hope he does. I can't wait to find out.
Nice
right.
shiny bow tie.
I think this is a well-deserved nomination, and Tim Gunn deserves it alongside Heidi. They work very hard on the show, and
And they're great.
they are just such a cute, adorable team. And I have some other news. If anyone remembers Nick Varios from season 2 of Project Runway, he has been all over your TV as a TV personality, giving his opinions on the red carpet. And now he has a new line called NV by Nick Varios in Dillard's stores, as well as dillards.com. Also at Lord & Taylor and lordandtaylor.com. And this is a great way for you guys to get a really great Project Runway look, but more affordable.
What's the price point?
The price points are from $108 to $158, but now there is a major sale up to 70% off. So get to shopping online, ladies.
Everybody loves the sale.
All right.
Okay, any predictions, ladies? Let's get into some predictions. Dun, dun, dun. Let's actually have Steph go first.
I would like to see Sue or Justin. I like Justin. I like to see them win.
Oh, Justin.
I think that Helen or Miranda will get the cut next week.
Ooh, very interesting. I have just picked some early favorites that might be in the final 3, but I actually have a final 4. I love Sue, Alexandra, Brandon, and Alexander. I think they're all very strong. And also, Kahindo,
yeah.
she could be rounding out that top 5. You noticed that her dress was so well made and very well fit and flattering, and I think she could have some tricks up her sleeve.
That's a good point.
Oh, real quick, I forgot my favorite Ken.
Ken.
Bow
I
tie.
gotta vote for him just because he has a bow tie tattoo.
Of course. I think Brayden's gonna do great, and I think Alexandra's also got really good style. And for some reason, I think Swedish. Is she Swedish or Swiss? I think Swedish.
Swedish.
Swedish people have really good style. Elin Kling or whatever. What is she? The fashion blogger. Her style's
Yeah.
off the hook.
But
And there's a bunch of them.
But in the same sense, like just because they have good style, like they
Doesn't
might
make them a good designer.
muck it up. Yeah.
I don't know. I have faith in her.
Right.
Let's see. We'll find out.
Sweet.
All right. Tell everybody where we can find you guys on Twitter.
You can find me at I am Stef Z. Well, I am Stef
Anywhere.
Z.
Anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere. Twitter at IAMSTEFZ.
You guys can find me on Twitter at The Runway Queen. Also on Instagram at The Runway Queen.
Awesome. And you guys can find me on Twitter at _Alina23. Thanks, everyone.
Sweet. Bye. Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.